The following program is brought to you by PodcastOne Sportsnet.
The month of October just keeps getting better every single week. With the World Series, NFL, college football, NBA, and NHL, this truly is the greatest time of the year for all the passionate diehard sports fans out there. There's only one place to get in on all the action, betonline.ag. Use promo code PodcastOne to receive a 50% sign-up bonus when signing up. BetOnline.ag, your online sportsbook experts and the exclusive partner of PodcastOne Sportsnet.
The following program is a PodcastOne.com production. From Hollywood, California, by way of the Broken Skull Ranch, this is the Steve Austin Show.
Give me a hell yeah.
Hell yeah. Now, here's Steve Austin.
All right, everybody, welcome to Steve Austin Show. I am coming to you from Silver State out here at Broken Skull Ranch 2.0. As I record the open of this podcast, it is one day prior to my departure out to the Winnemucca area of Nevada. I will be out on a mule deer hunt with Nevada Hunting Services. My brother-in-law, Mitch Bailey, got my 300 Win Mag all dialed in. My buddy Jim Irwin helped me out with that. Ted Fowler is on the podcast today. We're shooting the breeze, catching up, talking about hunting, fishing, shooting, camouflage, all kinds of shit. Baseball season. Hell, Teddy ain't even watching the World Series, and the World Series is over. And as I was talking to him in the podcast, as you will hear, I figured that the Boston Red Sox would close it out, and they did. Man, you talk about a hellacious baseball team. Props to the Boston Red Sox for winning it all. World Series champions. Dodgers gave it a hell of a go. It's been 2 years in a row, I guess, and come up just a little bit short. Awesome season by those guys, but man, that Boston Red Sox team, I'm not a baseball know-it-all. I played in Little League, high school, all that stuff. Made All-Stars a few times, but I really don't know shit about the game anymore. But that damn Boston team is badass, so they might be around here for a while. Great pitching, great hitting, great managing. So, congrats, Boston. Well-deserved, well-earned. And what they win, 105, 108 games in the regular season? That's crazy. So, anyway, they win the World Series. LA's back to the drawing board, and I am going to stop this open right now and get right into my podcast with TedFowler361 because we're talking for about an hour and 15 minutes about, a little bit about evolution. I was trying to watch that. Didn't get a chance to watch all of it. By the time you've listened to this podcast, I will have watched it. Congrats again to those ladies for putting on a badass show and didn't catch the World Series, just the last few innings. But I'm out in the middle of nowhere, folks. I'm going to get right to the podcast. Let's get to Ted Fowler 361. Shooting the breeze, having fun, raising hell, and talking shit. The month of October just keeps getting better every single week with the World Series, NFL, college football, NBA, and NHL. This truly is the greatest time of year for all the passionate diehard sports fans out there. The NBA season is off to a hot start with the Nuggets and the Raptors. We've got the Predators and Hurricanes strong out of the gates in the NHL, and Clemson and the Crimson Tide are dominating in college football. Are you looking for a place for all your online wagers? Well, look no further because our friends at betonline.ag have got you covered. BetOnline.ag is an exclusive partner of PodcastOne Sportsnet and our go-to for online sports betting. You need someone to get behind? These are the guys. Don't hesitate. Head over to BetOnline.ag to take advantage of the best bonuses in the business. When you're there, use promo code PodcastOne. That's PodcastOne to receive a 50% sign-up bonus today. One more time. That's BetOnline.ag and use promo code PodcastOne to start winning with your online sportsbook experts. If you're looking to buy a car, you're probably familiar with terms like MSRP. You might even know what it stands for, but what does it actually mean? The same goes for invoice, list price, and dealer price. It's enough to confuse anybody. All you're really looking for is a price that actually means something. Introducing True Price from TrueCar. Now you can know exactly what you'll pay for the car you want, including fees and accessories, before you even get to the dealership. TrueCar dealers will show you the true price on cars like the one you want, all from the comfort of home. And how do you know if your true price is a great price? Because TrueCar shows you what other people paid for the same car you want. And your certified dealers know this, so they set their true price competitively so they can win your business. So when you're ready to buy a new or used car, visit TrueCar to enjoy a more confident car buying experience. Some features not available in all states.
This is the Steve Austin Show.
Dude, are you recording right now? I'll tell you exactly what happened.
Yeah, do you want me to stop recording?
I was going to say, because only I could do this. I mean, we'd spoken and said that, you know, the audio is a little bouncy, so I went to get some some blankets to put up over the windows, right? Because, I mean, right on the other side of my screen is a big-ass window. Well, I ain't going to – because I'm such a redneck, dude, I take the blanket off of the couch that I put on the couch so the dogs don't tear it up, and I'm going to hang it up over the window, right? And I've got 4,000 bullets in this house. I've got like 8 push pins, you know. So I'm ferreting around through the desk for these push pins, and I grab 2 of them, one for each side. I put one end of that blanket, and dude, you talk about redneck. I mean, I put one end of that couch. I sent you a picture. One end of that couch cover up, and when I go to the other side, I'll be go to hell if I don't drop that push pin. And now it's between the floor and the wall, so I'm down there, and I can't see. I can't see in daylight. I certainly can't see now. So I'm flopping around with my hand. I'll be go to hell if I don't hit that surge strip and turn the power off to the computer and everything. I'm like, like I'm not already technically challenged when it comes to this computer thing. Now I just pulled the fuse out of it. It's like, shit. I turned it on real quick. Luckily, I found the push pin, and I was able to, yeah. So that's kind of, you know, the beginning of this whole unraveling, yeah.
I sent Ted a picture of my setup, and because we're doing some remodel work, I'm over here in a different part of the compound, and it's a real bouncy room. So I'm in a corner. I'm sitting on a bar stool. I got a Broken Skull Ranch neon clock beside me. I had to unplug my neon Lone Star beer sign because it's making too much noise. I got the freezer unplugged, and I've got, like, if you and me would go to the Walmarts, we would get a blanket. Well, when my wife is doing the bedding, because she's in charge of it, because, you know, I'm not going to do it, so we got a duvet. So I pulled the duvet out of the gimmick storage container, and I got that all in the corner, and then I got one pillow here for extra bounce control. Meanwhile, I'm looking at Ted's setup. Dude, I thought my shit was redneck. I don't have a deer head, a hog head. Is that a hog or a javelina?
Javelina.
I don't have a deer head, a javelina head. It looks like you hung it off the javelina's head and off the deer antler. That's what it looks like in the picture. And there's the big ass blanket. Dude, is that golf course? Is that indoor-outdoor carpet in front of that window?
No, dude, that's the
your yard.
No, that's the upholstery protection device that they sell at your local Walmart.
That's nice.
You can find it anywhere. In fact, if you'd like to go online and look for it, I'm sure you can find it. Yeah,
got a safe in the background.
Yeah, obviously, I'm not too worried about protecting, you know, my couch protector there. No, dude, but I mean, you know how my house is with Thunderdome, you know, and it only got worse with that boxer coming on board. So I try to protect the leather couch with, you know, one of these product, you know, quality products from Walmart. And that was all I could think of to cover the window.
Dude, I was trying to watch the WWE Evolution pay-per-view, but I had to do the podcast with you. And then the World Series is going on right now. As you and me talk, it's Sunday night, so we're going to see what happens because I'm going to play this thing on Thursday. I'm thinking Boston's going to close them out. But hell, man, since I was watching wrestling and hearing you talking about those push pins, why don't you just reach in your damn push pin jar, scatter them out on the floor, flip yourself on the couch, land on them, and join the wrestling business.
Dude, that's about the only thing I haven't done. You know, good Lord.
Dude, here's the thing you got to worry about. If one of those push pins get up on your couch and it's one of those blue panty days in the boom boom room and somebody goes to sit down and gets a push pin up their ass, it's going to kind of kill the mood.
Dude, if a push pin in the ass kills the mood, yeah, I brought home the wrong contestant.
Dude, what have you been up to? I see you went fishing the other day.
Yes, sir.
What time did y'all leave out?
Man, I was at Ray's house at 6 o'clock. We got to the boat launch about 6:45. It's getting light here. It's the right time of year. It's starting to be, close to deer season. It's getting light just a tad later. We were on the water by, 7:15. Yeah, it was beautiful. Beautiful day.
You don't catch anything?
You know what, man? Yes, we did. We caught some world-class red snapper. The only problem is it's not red snapper season.
Then why are they biting?
Yeah, exactly. And the guys I'm going with, one's a retired cop. One is running for, the local politic thing. They've got the navigation district. And one of my buddies, Ray, is going to be like the grand poobah of the navigation district. And he's a solid cat, but these guys, they're not as redneck as me. And obviously, they've got a little more to lose than I do. so we got perfectly good ice chest, but, everybody, they're all Coast Guard approved captains, so they can't break the law. So, yeah, we caught a bunch of big red snapper and had to let them all go. It was heartbreaking. It was like, going down the meat aisle at H-E-B when you're fresh on a diet.
Well, dude, you caught some amberjack too, right?
No, that's actually what we went out fishing for.
So you caught the unintended fish.
Yeah. They were like, all right, big boy, we're going to take you out there and get you hooked up on an amberjack. And we're using, a reel like Quint had there on Jaws. I mean, it's a big pin reel. And real deal, that thing's about the size of a cantaloupe, and it's got 130-pound mono on it. It's like, fishing with somebody's shoelace.
Dude, what are y'all fishing for when you use that 130-pound stuff?
Well, they're talking about, fishing over this submerged wreck, and if you hook an amberjack, 40, 50, 60 pounds, they wind the drag all the way down, and they're like, dude, you won't be able to stop. If you hook one of these up, it'll grab your bait and it'll go down into the wreck and it'll eventually cut you off. If it's a big fish, you will not be able to turn it. You won't be able to stop it. You just hold on, as best you can until it breaks you off. So that's, that was the idea. That's what we were fishing for. So you've got an egg sinker that's about the size of a shot glass. You've got a circle hook that's about the size of a shot glass. You got a 130-pound mono, which is like a shoelace, on a big-ass reel and about a 5-foot fishing rod. They strap this belt on you, your nuts or your, whatever. And they, take we were using these croaker that were about 4 or 5 inches long, hooking them through the head. And you just open the bail and let that lead weight take it down, 120 feet, fishing over that wreck. Crank it up a few times and just hold on, and then, boom, boom, it'd hit. And it was like you hooked onto a refrigerator at first. But you couldn't make heads or tails. You couldn't make any progress. And it's like, I'm not sure if I'm snagged on the bottom or snagged on the wreck or whatever, but you can feel the fish fighting and then reel it up. And you look and you go, good Lord, look at the size of it. I mean, if it was red snapper season, we would be eating it for months, because snapper's a good fish to eat, but you can't keep it. So we're bringing up 12, 15-pound red snappers and having to vent them and let them go down, and turn them loose. Yeah. But never caught an amberjack. Yeah, but had a lot of fun.
Dude, what do you do when you're out there? Because, that's a funny thing. I've been fishing my whole life. And, of course, I haven't been down to South Texas and fished in a long time. But, man, growing up, Port O'Connor, Port Lavaca, that's where we went. We went to a Rockport a few times, but my dad knew the Port O'Connor area like the back of his hand. Now, I never can remember. So I'm asking you now, like, if you get out there and someone's all whiskeyed up, I mean, when you're out there, you're in the middle of nowhere. You're on a boat. You're in the Gulf Coast. So what's y'all's protocol? When you piss, you piss. But what if somebody gets a hold of something bad and just needs to shit like a crippled goose? Because you go on all kinds of damn fishing trips with your buddies that are guides and stuff like that. What do they say, or what has been your experience? Because I never had an incident where I had to drop trow and shit over the side of a boat, especially when I'm trying to catch fish in the general vicinity.
Dude, that's pretty much all you can do is go to the back of the boat, and everybody kind of gives you that, 2 minutes of courtesy and get up on the bow, and yeah, you just, hang your ass over the side of the boat,
easy on the oven root.
Yeah, it's like
I appreciate it if you wouldn't shit on my outboard motor.
Yeah, wait a minute. Let me turn into the wind here, to give everybody a little common courtesy. Now, dude, but, you just hang it over. Now, I haven't had to do it, thank God, because I at least plan, with the strict dietary regiment that I'm on,
Jack and Coke.
Yeah, I try not to eat anything spicy, before we go offshore, because I know how much I'm going to drink the night before, and I don't want to be, I don't want to be that guy, No, dude, but you just hang it, you hang it off of the back of the boat and just hope for the best, and
Dude, one time, me and Kristen, we were doing a lot of research because we really wanted to buy a boat because we live in Marina Del Rey and there's a lot of water over there. Problem is, once you get out of the marina, it's rougher than a motherfucker. So, anyway, we rent this boat to do our research. It was like I think it was about a 26-footer, and that ain't big enough for the Pacific Ocean. And so we get out there, we're bouncing around like a bitch. I had a couple of margaritas all made for us on the way out in the marina. It's scenic, it's picturesque, it's romantic, it's ideal, it's the American dream, it's the boating life. Then all of a sudden, you get into the ocean part of it where there's no barriers and no ways to stop the waves, and we're getting the shit beat out of us. And of course, bigger than Dallas, I got to take a piss right off the bat. There's sailboats coming up and down the goddamn Venice Beach. There's people coming in and out, but this is one of those things where, dude, I have got to piss. So I told my wife, and I don't know how many outboard motor boats she's driven, but I said, goddamn, here, we're just kind of going, about, 10 miles an hour, just kind of going with the waves. I said, man, I got to piss. And I said, here, drive this boat, just keep it pointed this direction. So I went back, kind of got on my knees, pissed over the back, in the well, back over there across the damn motor. Finally, dude, I finished up, and I didn't give a shit if anybody had some goddamn camera lenses out there or what. I had to piss. And so sure enough, she goes, well, Steve, I got to go too. I said, well, shit, you just saw what I did. Get your ass back there and hang it out the back. Dude, what do you do?
Yeah, that's exactly what you do.
So that's what she did. And dude, we rented that boat for I think we rented it for 4 hours. And so all we did was go out there, hit the rough water. Both of us took a piss. It took us 30 minutes to get out because you got to go, no wake zone in the marina, and that's how big the marina is. So we got tossed around for 20 minutes out there in the ocean, both pissed, came back. And you know me, dude, if I'm going to spend my money, I'm going to get my motherfucking dollar's worth. So I drove around in a big-ass circle in that marina for another 2 hours just so I was going to get my goddamn 4 hours worth on that motherfucker. But that was lesson number one. Out of all the research that we did, it was going out there and doing it and trying it out that we realized, you know what? I don't think we need a goddamn boat.
Dude, how you said that 26-footer isn't big enough to go out, into the Pacific any distance. We go out on a 28-foot shallow sport, and we were only about 40 miles out this time, but the time before we were 60 miles out. One motor on the back of that thing. And Ray, he says, well, boys, I got one of these satellite radios or satellite telephones. In the event something goes wrong, we got to call the Coast Guard. And then my happy ass is sitting in the front of the boat like going, fuck it, man, let's go. Yeah, I'm good.
Dude, just like you don't want to be that guy that's in the back of the boat taking a dump, you don't want to be that boat that has to call the Coast Guard to come rescue your ass, because we're always out there. We have been for years, and we've certainly had our share of malfunctions with the motors and stuff like that. We've always managed to get back, and thank God for the Coast Guard. And my brother served there for 20-some-odd years. But, dude, when you got to get towed in, that is the drizzling shits. But when you and when you do have a malfunction out there, dude, I mean, being in the water with no power is not a fun fucking escapade.
It's like the people that go out, the Googans that come in on the weekend, they don't run their boat all winter.
Yep.
Come, summer, spring, they bring it down on the weekends, and their boat craps out, and they're sitting there with the cowling off of the top of the outboard. It's like, what do you think that's going to do? Do you have the slightest idea what you're looking at? Because I don't. It's like, yeah, I mean, I'm that way with cars. I'm a little bit handy, but
but see, that's the thing about breaking down in a boat. Same thing as breaking down in a car. Yeah. Even though, and me included with you, someone sent me a question. I was going to do a Q&A, and they asked about our mechanical capabilities, who was further up to speed on the mechanical end of things, and I think it's a fucking tie. Yeah. We both finished in last place. But it is the universal sign to say to people that, hey, I'm broke down, but also, even if there was a chance, Teddy, that no one was going to drive by, no one, still, it's curiosity killed the cat. You got to pop the hood just so, even though you don't know what the fuck you're seeing, you can see it.
Dude, you run that small sliver of the obvious. It's like, well, shit, I can see right there. That's broken. Hell, there's the problem. Yeah, but if I lift the hood and I don't see the belt missing or the hose blown in half or something completely broken, dude, I'm like an ape sitting there scratching my head at the zoo, like going, well, fuck, I don't know what's going on. Yeah.
Yeah. If you don't see the broken belt or a hose spewing something out of it or whatever, or oil or whatever leaking from somewhere, then you're fucked.
Yeah, dude, I think it's a buckle on the fan belt. Shit, I don't know, man. We got nothing but problems now.
Dude, I mean, you got to think, man, going back to, I remember, my parents saw every single 50 states driving in the RV. Well, obviously, they didn't drive the RV to Hawaii, but I mean, all the states that are hooked up here together, they drove in a pickup truck and a fifth wheel trailer and saw all of them. And they have been broke down like a bitch several times. But going back, dude, I remember before I got into the wrestling business and we used to go across everywhere, dude, before they had cell phones. And a lot of people that might listen to the show aren't old enough to remember that there weren't cell phones.
Right.
But dude, back in the day, when you broke down in the middle of nowhere, you was fucked. I mean, you're fucked either way but at least now with the technology we got, and it's been around for quite some time, but there was a day when you could break down and there was no way to call a motherfucker.
No, dude, Dad started walking and everybody hung out there in, the old station wagon, the old grocery getter, waiting for Dad to come back, Yeah. You talk about, bad time to be a parent.
And, a couple of times me and Kristen broke down in our RVs. It's one thing, that one time we had that blowout right outside of, goddamn Odessa. No, whatever, one of those towns. Ozona. Goddamn, we almost got killed. Damn off 10 West into the damn medium. I'm riding that son of a bitch, and finally I just bring it to a halt. And fuck, we had that emotional moment. And it was like, goddamn, all of a sudden you're stationary. Now, don't get me wrong. I got 1,500 rounds. I got a rifle, a couple of pistols, some knives. I'm going to be the last person a motherfucker wants to fuck with. But you're vulnerable once you get out there, dude. I mean, especially when I break down and me and Kristen break down and me and Kristen the dogs break down, those are all three different stories because, one, if it's just me, I'm good. Now, I still got to take care of business and get back on track, get fixed up, do all the work, but it's just me worrying about me. When it's you worrying about your family, whole different ball game. And then all of a sudden, if you got dogs, that adds a whole nother level of drama because that night when we was trying to find hotel rooms in Ozona, there was one goddamn room left and they didn't take dogs. Only one room left in that little fucking town because of the oil field. And we convinced them or paid extra to get them to take our dogs. But when you break down with that extra precious cargo, as my wife calls it, that's when it's the real shits.
Oh, yeah. No, dude, absolutely right. I mean, as guys, dude, we can break down and sleep in the vehicle on the side of the road until the sun comes up and then figure it out from there. Bring another factor into the equation, not happening.
Whole different ball game. Man, I'm trying to get geared up for this damn mule deer hunt. I'm looking forward to it. I shot my first mule deer last year. That deer was the bonus plan. I got lucky as a summit seeing that damn deer. He scored 175. And so, man, I've been dialing in the last few days. I've been to the shooting range. I think I'm ready. Now, I hope I get an opportunity at a shot at a deer that I like. But And I'm going to be selective about it too, Teddy. And if I'm not seeing what I want to see, hopefully towards the end of the hunt, I might see something that's beat up or just busted up and I ain't going to make it through the winter and take a deer like that out. But I'm not going to go shoot no young deer. But I'm looking forward to the hunt. I want to talk to you about that because you and me hunted the whitetails for so long in South Texas. But, man, as much as you and I love to shoot down at the ranch, you know, we always set up, we always dialed in at our 100-yard target range. Yeah. And that's typically what everybody sights in as, you know, something at 100 yards. That's the standard. And then you can go above and beyond that. But you want to zero at 100 and then go from there. We always had plans. We talked about it for 10 years. We wanted to make this long-ass shooting range because you and I love to shoot. But when you're shooting in South Texas, anywhere you're going to shoot, you need to be responsible and have a backstop. Well, and that's kind of where lied the problem with doing it at the Broken Skull Ranch. Aside from, you know, we had the area, but it was just, dude, we had too much goddamn work to do to just sit around and make a long-distance shooting range. So I went out to the desert. First of all, I went out shooting with this dude. His name is Jim Irwin, the former Army Ranger. And, you know, obviously like a trained sniper and all that stuff. So, dude, when he speaks about guns, he makes it so simple because he's also an instructor. He was a wealth of information. You know, last year I took out my 7 mag, and this year I decided, you know what, the optics are a little bit better on that 300 Win Mag, so I'm going to take that gun. And it's got that Leopold Boone and Crockett scope that you and I are both familiar with. So I got the different graduations on it, and I went out there and sighted that thing in, and we were shooting fine and dandy at 300 yards. And I was like, man, I think I'm going to get a shot, you know, that could be, you know, up in that 450 range. And I said, I would really like to know, you know, where I'm at on this scope because right now we've only used 2 of those reticles or 2 of those crossbars because that's all the range we got at 300. Right. So I said, hey, man, he goes, I got a place where we got steel targets set up. It's about 45 minutes from here. If you want to go, we can go and get you dialed in. Dude, I had a shit pile of stuff doing it, but I got to know because, you know me and you, we do our due diligence, got to have our shit sighted in. Yeah. So I said, yeah, man, let's go. Dude, we get out there. He's got this little gimmick table. We sat down, put a furniture pad underneath the table. Got rock solid on a good sandbag I bought and on the back end by my trigger. Dude, I was just so dialed in, and I started off on the 200-yard target, went to the 300-yard target, and those were my 2 go-tos on that first crosshair. Then I dropped it down a crosshair, started nailing 10-inch plates at the 400-yard mark. Then we moved up to 500. I'm drilling that, 10-inch plates. And then finally out to 600 on the bottom of my scope, right there at that trident, which it's not even a crosshair, it's just the beginning of the bottom of the scope. That's my 600-yard pin. So I got me a little dope sheet on my iPhone where I snapped a picture and went to, when this dude breaks out his ballistics information, he's either got a notebook or he's got it on his smartphone. And his smartphone, I don't know how it spits out all this information that it does, but because he's like a sniper guy, he's calling wind, and the scopes they use are just insane as far as the quality. Dude, you and me, we got reticles, we got crosshairs. That's all we got, crosshairs. Right. So it was fun. I wish you would have been there because you would have had a blast. And, you know, with those guns you got, you would have been busting those targets too. But it was fun to shoot with someone who knew a shit pile more than me. And not that he taught me anything, but just when you talk to someone with that knowledge, it's very, very helpful. And it was also cool because he was behind me. He had a real powerful, spotting scope. So he would tell me where I was hitting, where to make an adjustment. He was also calling the wind for me, and he'd tell me, where to hold just based on that wind blowing a con here across there with this, that, or whatever. So, dude, that was a fucking blast.
Dude, those guys, I mean, they are on a completely different level, because we're hunters, they're shooters. You know what I mean? We set up for, function, to shoot deer. And those guys are like, just stretching it out there. Yeah, I remember when we were shooting 400 out at the ranch with that other cat, and that to me just blew my mind.
The problem with the time we were shooting with that guy, Dude, we were ill-equipped. We didn't have nothing. We didn't have the right setup. We couldn't really see anything, in my opinion. But also, here was one of the things you surprised me with. When we first got down to the public shooting range, he had his truck parked to the side, and I parked beside him, and he had 2 furniture pads laying down, and he already had this badass scope on a bipod laying down there. And he goes, hey, man, I was all proud of myself. I just brought my lead sled. I hadn't put it together yet, but I got a lead sled because I wanted to be rock solid, right? Mm-hmm. He says, well, I thought we'd start off shooting in the prone position because that way, you're down, you're solid, no body movement. You take all the other human elements out of it. And I'm thinking, man, okay, dude, you're the guy that knows a whole lot about shooting. So I guess we can try to shoot in prone, dude. And I'm good at laying down on the ground. But when you lay down on the ground and you put a gun on your shoulder and you're trying to look up through a scope with crosshairs at a target that's 300 yards away, and you got a bad stack of dimes with a C-34 fusion and 2 other bad levels, and then the rest of your spine is as crooked as a politician, it ain't that goddamn fun. So I'm laying down there like a fucking human periscope, and my periscope is rusty, trying to shoot this target. I got the sun coming down at me from the right-hand side, and so I'm shooting the gun with one arm, my right arm, and I'm holding my left eyelid down as a sun visor for my eye, because you talk about the shits. I told him, we went through a box of shells, and I said, Jim, the prone position is not something I'm going to be using anytime in the near future. So thank you for the tips and all the help, but let's move this motherfucker over there to the tables where I can position my lawn chair and get a comfortable shot at that 300-yard target. So have you ever shot in the prone position?
Dude, when we were out at the ranch, shooting with that other guy, if you remember, we were shooting in the bed.
Back of the pickup.
GMC pickup. Yeah, and we were going downhill, same deal.
Yeah, but it was downhill. If we'd been going level, good, but keep going. Okay, we're in the back of the pickup. We're shooting downhill.
Dude, that was the first time I'd shot prone. It was like, hey, dude, I get excited, but I don't ever see any reason to go straight down to the ground. I mean, shit, I'll drop to a knee or sit.
Yeah, but you got to understand the prone position. When you have other people shooting at you, it might be a good position to be in.
It's been a long time since somebody else has shot at me,
Well, we didn't have that in South Texas.
Yeah, since I left Arizona. Yeah.
But usually you were running from those shots.
There was one time that guy's wife, and that guy, he was misinformed. His wife told him some bad info. No, dude, but shooting prone is just, I get it, but that's not something that we practice, not something that we're comfortable with or used to. So in answer to your question, no, I don't shoot prone. I would prefer not to. Yeah.
Dude, one time we was hunting in South Texas, just before you and me met, I was hunting with that idiot in Pearsall, and I was hunting at a stand. They called it number 2, and there was a big-ass deer at the end of the Sendero, a hell of a damn buck, easily Boone and Crockett, probably a 180 deer. And I kept seeing that fucking deer. He just crossed the road, and that was all he'd give me. And he was damn near, he was 700-800 yards away. There's no way in hell I was equipped to make that shot. Of course, when we're hunting the brush country, Now, if you're on a lease, you are going to make a 250, 300-yard shot.
Sure.
If you can see it. If you have the lane, you will. But, of course, at the Broken Skull, we didn't need to take those kind of shots unless it was a hog or a coyote. But so here I am. Never shot anything further than 300 yards. This deer is 700 or 800 yards. It's a deer of a lifetime. So I figured, okay, I'm a human being. I am smarter than the white-tailed deer. I will outsmart him. I will display my intelligence, my superior intelligence over his. So I decided the next morning, instead of sitting in the deer stand, I would walk halfway down the Sendero, where I would meet him halfway, and he would think I would be at 800 yards, but in reality, I would be at 300 to 400 yards, and that would enable me to be able to make a good shot on him, and therefore take him and put him in my freezer and put the horns on my wall. So I'm out there laying down about halfway between the deer stand and where the big deer shows up, and I'm laying there. And I'm laying there. I'm still laying there. I'm getting tired of laying there. And laying down is pretty damn easy, ain't it, Ted?
Yeah,
and I'm still laying there. Now, here's the thing. If I'd have thought to bring a fucking pillow, so When I'm not looking, I can put my head down and just kind of, lay there like I'm going to sleep, because I can lay on my belly in a bed all day long. All of a sudden, you're laying in the little lane of a sendero, or for people who don't know what a sendero is, a dirt road, and you're trying to look up for several hours. And I know that we've got, military forces that are trained to do this is what they do, and they can do it all day long, or 14, 16, 18 hours. I'm not that guy. I'm that dude that likes to hunt the deer, but I'm not used to laying on my belly looking up at something. So right when I thought I was going to employ my superior intelligence, after about 2 hours of laying there with that crick in my neck, I said, fuck that goddamn deer. I picked up my rifle, I grabbed my shit, and I just walked back to the goddamn camp. Teddy, I'll guarantee you, when I turned around and started walking back to the camp, the deer just fucking crossed the road at a leisurely pace, probably ate a few acorns, and went about his business and said, hey, fuck you, you stupid bald-headed son of a bitch. I wasn't as smart as I thought I was going to be, Ted.
Dude, he probably sat down on the brush line when he first noticed you out there, and he was like, "Are you shitting me? Look at this guy."
You know what he did? He walked between the deer stand and me, looked at the deer stand, and well, nobody home there. Oh, there's that idiot laying in the road. He gave me the old road runner beep beep. I'm laying there like Wile E. Coyote with a fucking rifle with my thumb up my ass. Well, that deer meat's good.
Alexa isn't the only one with breaking news. Make sure to hang around at the end of this podcast for the latest breaking headlines on the AP News Minute.
Hey, you guys, it's Natalie Eva Marie, and I am so excited. I have a brand new show on PodcastOne called The Natalie Eva Marie Show, co-hosting with my husband, Jonathan Coyle.
Handsome husband, babe.
And you guys might know me from WWE, Total Divas, my fashion line, NEM Fashion.
And you guys might know me from the CrossFit world and the fitness community. I'm really, really pumped for this show. We get to interview the kings and queens of their respective fields. I'm talking celebrities, athletes, activists, people that are top of the line in business. I'm really, really excited.
Anything that you guys want to hear about, we're going to talk about, including whatever guests you guys want us to have on. You will be included 100%.
Oh, absolutely. We want this to be very, very interactive. You guys tell us who you want to bring on, and we'll bring them on.
That's right. So you guys make sure to download new episodes of The Natalie Eva Marie Show every Wednesday on Apple Podcasts, PodcastOne, and the PodcastOne app. And make sure to rate and review.
And rate and review 5 stars.
That's right. Take us to the top, baby.
Anything less than 5 will not be accepted.
This is the Steve Austin Show.
Hey, man, you going to try to get down here and go mule deer hunting one of these days? Are you still putting in for draws?
Man, I'm still putting in. I spoke to Mitch. I'm really, truly leaning towards coming down and going on a mountain lion hunt. As much as I said I really didn't have any interest to shoot a mountain lion, I've been doing a lot of research as to, the predation that they're causing on mule deer and antelope. And, dude, I can't get drawn for jack down there in Nevada. And, next year I'm putting in for Arizona. I got a buddy there, that will, he'll take me out. He won't hook me up. I still got to get drawn, but my best chance is to come up there to Nevada and, go on a mountain lion hunt with Mitch.
You know what? I saw a lot of the footage, a lot of pictures of mountain lions and stuff like that. And to me, I kept saying, man, these things are so damn pretty. Why would anyone want to take one? Okay, and that was kind of my thoughts on it. And then, well, all of a sudden I get a place here, and then I see all the predation. And then when the dude that's got his sheep a half mile from my house puts them out in the pen to graze out there and leaves them out there, and then he moves them further down the lane, and 2 or 3 of those sumbitches has been eaten up, I'm okay with taking a mountain lion. So I think it's a hunt. As a matter of fact, I leave for my deer hunt on Tuesday, Wednesday, I can't remember. I got my head up my ass. But the dude told me, he goes, you need to go to Walmart and you need to get a lion tag, because he was just hunting the same unit I was hunting. Well, I think he was hunting 032, which was right next door. And he goes, man, if anything, if you happen across one, while you're hunting, if you have your tag, it's a $10 tag. You'll be able to take one. So I'm glad you reminded me about that. But dude, I'm saying, I didn't really have any interest in the mountain lion hunt, taking the dogs out, turning the dogs loose. They find the tracks or the smell smell. They treat the damn mountain lion. You shoot the mountain lion. I didn't get it. But when you're out here, and because California has said you can't hunt mountain lions, dude, they're growing in population like crazy. They're eating everything over there, and they're creeping over into here. And then all of a sudden, when Oregon says you can't use dogs, they're creeping over into here. So there's just an abundance of cats out there. And a lot of people don't understand that. But now that I have a place here and I've been around it, I do understand it. And I am going to go get a permit. And dude, if I see one, I'd love to take one, because Mitch said that is some of the best meat he's ever eaten in his life.
Dude, I'd heard the same thing. I heard it was real good table fare. But yeah, I mean, we had spoken about this on a number of occasions. Neither one of us had a desire to shoot a mountain lion, but, after further research and looking at, the predation that they're causing, and very few predators, are coming after them, they're running unchecked. Yeah, I'm down with that. I think it'll probably be the tail end of January, first part of February before I get out there.
Dude, keep me. Just let me know when you're going to do that, because then I'll make sure we're here, and then I'll go out there with you or tag along on hunt, because I think it'd be a lot of fun. Dude, first of all, I never thought I wanted to shoot a mountain lion. I never thought I wanted to shoot a bear. And I still don't think I want to shoot a bear. But, man, the neighbor's been saying, hey, man, there's a bear in the area. There's a bear in the area. And I've been talking about this on this podcast for a few days. We got a couple of apple trees in our yard. And when we bought the place, the people said, hey, man, there's a couple of big-ass mule deer that will come in here and eat those apples. Well, last year, I never saw a big-ass mule deer eating the apples. So this year, I heard, hey, man, all the bears are trying to get ready for hibernation, so they're coming in there and eating them apples. And I'm thinking, sure, they're eating all the apples. What are they going to do, climb in those fucking apple trees? The fucking limbs won't hold them up. So sure enough, man, there's bear shit everywhere. And then those bears, when you walk up to those trees, Teddy, they're just kind of like, I don't know how tall they are, 10 feet, maybe 12 tops. Ain't that big around. Dude, the limbs are all busted up. Those bears, I'm guessing they're weighing between 300, 400, 450 pounds. They're climbing up in there, and dude, they got damn near, when we left the last time, those 3 trees, they were so heavy, I was going to go out there and pick the fucking apples, but I said, hey, fuck that. I don't like the apples anyway, so I'm not going to fuck with them. But that's how heavy those trees were. Dude, those bears, like right now, they're trying to take in like 20,000 calories a day. They're foraging as much as they can into the system so they go into hibernation. So everybody's telling us about these bears. Sure enough, Kristen got the big idea. Hey, now before we release the dogs out into the yard, because right now we have no outdoor lights and it's darker than fuck out there, he goes, we got to go out there and, scan the yard, make sure there's no bears out there. I'm thinking, yeah, okay, whatever. So, sure enough, watching the World Series, you're not going to believe it. There's a bear in the backyard. Oh, bullshit. Sure enough, I go out there and grab the spotlight from her. Dude, it's 30 to 40 yards. This big, I estimate the bear at 450 pounds. It's a black bear. He was laying on his fucking side, just laying there. Shit, dude, this thing is right there. And it wasn't like, like when you watch Legends of the Fall with that big ass. Did you see that movie?
Yes, yeah. You
remember when Brad Pitt gets? Well, let's don't talk about the fight. You remember the big ass badass grizzly bear?
Yes.
That would scare the shit out of me. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that I'm going to go over and try to manhandle a 450-pound bear, because those things will slap the dog shit out of you. I'm just thinking about the grizzly bear or the polar bear, but specifically the grizzly bear being a bad motherfucker. But nonetheless, dude, when you got a 450-pound bear in the yard, you show somebody some respect.
Absolutely.
So, I don't know, to put the dogs on them, to tree them, whatever, to shoot them, I don't know. I see, the Instagram stuff all the time with the bears. I don't get it. So I don't want one in my backyard. I'm not going to shoot him, because unless he was charging me or killing one of my dogs, I'm not going to do anything to him. But I don't know. I just don't have any desire to shoot a bear.
Dude, I think a lot of that stuff, is for the dogs, for the thrill of the dogs. I mean, I'm not. I don't wake up in the morning and be jonesing about shooting a mountain lion, but I would get a kick out of watching the dogs chase them because I'm a dog guy. You know, I'm running bird dogs. Yeah. So that to me would be thrilling. And
right. That's a good point.
Yeah. Yeah. You know, so I mean, you look at it from that perspective.
But on that note, in theory, you could tree the bear and then pull the dogs off and go about your day.
Oh yeah, dude. You don't have to
catch and release.
Yeah,
you can catch and release a bear just like you do a fish.
Yeah. No, dude. I will tell you this. I have shot and killed 2 black bears, both archery. It is some of the worst meat I have ever eaten, you know. And after the first one, I said, well, maybe I just got a bad one. And then I went out and I flexed.
You could say that about almost anything, you know.
Did a lot of my dates the same way. Maybe I just got a bad one. Yeah, no, dude. After I went out and I fletched the second one and I had that one processed and I was like, no, that pretty much tastes like ass. Yeah. So I 2 was plenty. I got them both up on the wall, and I gave the meat away to anyone that would take it. Yeah, but that's not good table fare.
Yeah, if it already tastes like ass, fuck it. Spare the bear. Just go eat some ass. God damn. Dude, I'm looking forward to getting out there. I'm taking my buggy down there. I'm going to get that summit in the mountains. It's just interesting the way these guys hunt out here with these damn spotting scopes. And looking for stuff 3 to 5 miles out was kind of a mind blow for me. And then, you know, on the antelope hunting, you know, it was kind of the same thing about 2 months ago. Out there just glassing. And you've gotten a couple of antelope, right?
No, I still have not. I got drawn when I was in Arizona for an archery antelope tag, and it was the most fun hunt. I did not get one, but it was a tremendous amount of fun. But no, that's on my list as an antelope.
Man, you know, I wasn't particularly enamored with just the look of the antelope horn. You know, I love the whitetail horn, the mule deer horn.
Yeah.
And of course I love the meat because I eat all the meat. And the antelope, man, it just didn't appeal to me, you know, and you told me how fun that hunt was. And many other people have said the same thing. So I'm like, well, you know, no big deal. I'll put in for it, but I didn't draw one. All of a sudden I get a phone call from Mitch. Hey man, I've got an opportunity for 2 landowner tags. He was going to get one, and he was going to give me first dibs of the other one. So it took me about 4 seconds to tell him I'll take it. So we go out there, we do the deal, we're riding around. The first day, we're just kind of piddling around because we're kind of over there in that area behind his house. Saw a couple of interesting ones, but that's the first day, and I had 5 days. We get out there, and his good friend Casey is riding in the back of the buggy. I'm riding shotgun. All of a sudden, you know, kind of pull out the glasses. Or if we're just cruising down the road or just a wore-out road or in the brush, dude, that Casey with his naked eyes would say, hold on, Mitch, there's a couple on the side of that mountain over there. And I'm looking, I don't see shit. Sure enough, dude, I mean, he's looking with his bare eyes. Finally, I throw up my 10-power Leicas, and I'm like, yeah, there are some antelope over there. Dude, there's a whole different ball game. You know, that antelope hunting, everything we saw was either a mile to a couple miles away. And then the ones we saw that were up close were 500 to 800 yards away, where you still need to make some stalk, right? Sure. But when you're starting at 5 and they've already made you, what are you really going to get? You know, maybe 100? Or are you going to take out 500? But, dude, it was a challenge just to go along with what you're saying. We chased, we stalked. I mean, we rode. We didn't run after them on our feet. And I don't know if you've talked to Mitch lately, but he had a hell of a horror story as far as one of his hunts. You've got to hear him tell that story to you firsthand. It's amazing. But, dude, those animals, the way Mitch was describing it to me, and I think you have too, is like the antelope. Like if you and me are looking at each other, I see you from 100 yards away, I'm looking at you with, like, you know, 1-power vision or 20/20 vision. You know, the antelope is seeing at 8 times that vision. So it's like looking through a pair of 8-power binocular eyes. So when I see that little sumbitch over there, because I ain't got no glasses up, he's seeing me magnified 8 times. Yeah. Those things, you know, it's funny because, you know, like the whitetail, we know is very leery, very suspect. keen, very sensitive nose, and a lot of times the nose will always get you. I'm not talking about hunting over bait. I'm talking about truly trying to stalk a white-tailed deer. That nose, that hearing, the vision is going to give you away every single time. For these guys, it's not so much, it's not the nose, it's not the hearing, dude. It's the fucking fact that they can see 6,000 miles, and to your point, it was a fucking blast. I hope I get drawn. I hope I get a landowner tag or whatever kind of tag I got to do. I want to do this I want to hunt one antelope every single year.
Oh, dude. And the terrain you're on is wicked flat, so there's no cover. It's not like you can drop down into a gully, and scurry around and pick up 200-300 yards. I mean, it's flat as a fritter, and the antelope are just sitting there at, you're right, 800 yards looking at you like.
Did we see you?
Yeah, I did. That's old Steve Austin.
No, but where we're at, a lot of stuff we're seeing is flat, but we're are also in the mountains. So you'll see them. You'll be driving along. You make a stalk. You can go around. You can walk around a couple of ridges because what you're going to do is basically get down below them, make a 180 or whatever it needs to be, and then make your approach from that angle. Now they're still going to see you. Depends on it for the most part. If you can make that stalk, get within a presentable shot, and then it's like, dude, by the time you go a couple of ridges over, there was a couple of times I'm like, all right, where the fuck is the buggy at? I know that when we started, the antelope was in front of us, and then when we came up, they was on the left side of us, and then we was on the front side of them again, and all that shit. We went over a couple of more ridges, and I'm like, I don't know where the fuck we're at. Yeah. Dude, Mitch just throws down his, I think he left his jacket or his bipod or something like that just laying there on the ground. The buggy was 2 miles away, and I'm thinking, boy, we got shit scattered everywhere. I might need to get me one of them satellite phones to call in the damn helicopter to get me out of this motherfucker.
Yeah, dude, Mitch is another type of human being, though, when it comes to, being out there in the sticks and knowing, where he's at and where he left the keys, yeah, he can figure it out.
Dude, I bought me, you know me. When I first moved out here, I figured, all right, this is a big country. This is a mountain area. I know South Texas. I got a really good sense of, and for some reason, Teddy, the sense of direction doesn't really transfer for me, doesn't transfer from South Texas to Nevada. I just know that area. I feel it better. Yeah. Coming out here, you get out and get a couple of ridges over. If you have a marker, like I'm looking at a specific mountain, that's fine. But if you get a couple of ridges away and you can't see that mountain, you need to know what direction it is or whatever. So I buy me one of them GPS devices, one of them handheld sumbitches.
Yes, sir.
Long time ago, back in the early 90s, when I was hunting in Georgia, in the piney woods, and over in Alabama, I figured, well, I'll get me one of them GPS devices, and I took that sumbitch, and I was in the woods. Those damn pine trees are so damn tall. The signals were so shitty, 20, 25 years ago. You're sitting there thinking you're mapping your waypoints, but you ain't even got a signal. So all of a sudden it comes time to go home or go back to the four-wheeler. You ain't got no waypoints because nothing was logged because you never had no satellite reception. So same thing happened out here. I shit-canned that one in Georgia all those years ago. I figured I'd go back to it. Same little bitty shitty screen. I'm out there. I'm thinking, okay, the trail it's drawn is on an inch and a half square by 2 inch square. Boy, that's a great fucking trail. And I got to put my glasses on to see the sumbitch. It's like, I'm out in hundreds of thousands of acres. I got this little bitty short trail, but I've driven 30 miles. So I shit-canned that GPS device. I said, you know what? Fuck it. I'm going old school. I'll go get myself one of them fancy-ass compasses with a little slide rule on the side of it. Well, I got it. I'm just too lazy to go buy some maps and learn how to use it.
I was going to say.
I was thinking about wrapping it back up and sending it down there to Rockport for your Christmas present this year.
Jesus Christ. Send me a pirate, too, so I can figure out how to use that son of a bitch. Yeah.
Next time you go out with one of your buddies, if you borrow his fishing boat, you can take the compass your good buddy Steve gave you for Christmas and find your way back.
Yeah, wait until nighttime. We'll break out the old sextant and, chart it off of the stars. Yeah, that's going to happen.
God damn it, dude. I got to get some navigational skills, because I was talking to a guy. I was riding my buggies the other day, a while back when Neil came down, and I had a flat on my utility trailer. And you remember you dragged my utility trailer down there to Rockport so Jerry could re-rig it and fix it all up, right?
Yeah.
So got it all fixed up, put the LED tail lights in it for me. I'm doing good. Got my tailgate all fixed, and he welded on 2 gimmicks so I could have 2 spare tires rather than 1. You remember that? So I've got, single axle trailer. So I got 2 tires on the ground, 2 tires mounted on the wheel racks, right?
Yep.
Those tires were so fucking bald. I had a flat tire, jacked it off, took it off. Let me rephrase that.
I was going to say.
Took the tire off, put the spare on, all's good. But the spare is just as shitty as the tires on the ground. So I said, you know what? I got a 300-mile drive from here to Unit 034, and a 300-mile drive back. I said, I'm going to get some new fucking tires for this damn trailer because, hell, I've had that Summit since 07. Took it down there, dude. I got, thanks to old Jerry Poppy, welding those extra tire gimmicks for me, I got 2 fucking brand new tires on the ground, and on the spare, I got 2 brand new spares. And the guy asked me at the tire store, he goes, Steve, if you're just going to run spares, why don't we just put these good tread ones on your racks and just, put the 2 new ones on the ground? And I told him, Chuck, I said, I appreciate it. But I said, I've been RVing and pulling trailers my whole life. I said, I've had trouble with these tires, whether they're dry rotted, a couple of them just bare. I said, I want 4 brand new tires, and you're not going to talk me into buying just 2 of them. So he understood what I was talking about. But, dude, I got that sumbitch wired up, ready to go. I'm fixing to load up. But I had to do all my due diligence as far as getting that motherfucker up to speed, because the last thing when you're trying to go on your goddamn hunt, and you got 5 days to do it, is any kind of mechanical malfunctions out on the damn highway.
Absolutely right. That is not the time to be working on shit.
Dude, speaking of trailers, I might be buying a horse trailer.
Dude, I bought a tandem axle flatbed trailer to haul my buggy around.
Did you?
Yeah.
Where'd you get it from?
Weasel was up there in Pflugerville, and he told me, he said, boy, I bought me a flatbed trailer to haul my lawnmower. I said, hell, I need one to haul my buggy. It's a 14 by 7 and a tandem axle. Which you're not finding much on a 14-foot long trailer. LED lights, the big fold down ramp, $1,800 out the door. Spray painted black like the old Model A Ford.
Okay, that's a great price, but I love the tandem axle. But are you planning on hauling something heavier than that buggy? Because, dude, that's a hell of a setup at 14 feet because you got a lot of length and 2 axles.
No, dude, that's a pleasure trailer. That is not for work. That was bought by TedFowler Enterprises, not TedFowler Construction.
Did you hear about all the problems that Mitch had with his trailer?
Man, I haven't spoken to him in about 2 or 3 weeks because I figured he'd been out hunting.
Dude, he has been hunting his ass off. This has been one of his he's always busy, as you know, but he's been really busy with bear, antelope, and mule deer and elk. And so all of a sudden, man, he had that one Nevada Hunting Services trailer, which you guys took that one time, and he's been running that thing for 20, 25 years. And, dude, Mitch, first of all, he's a certified grade A mechanic, so he can fix anything. But, dude, when he buys something, he will run it and take care of it, but he will run it into the ground. He will get every ounce of money that he paid for that thing out of it, right?
Yes, sir.
So finally it comes time to buy a new trailer. So we go down to where you buy new trailers from, and he gets a brand new, I think he got a 16 or 17 foot tandem axle, maybe it's 14 foot tandem axle, and all the bells and whistles. Guy threw in a spare tire, ready to rock and roll. Dude, he's coming back from a hunting trip with his brand new trailer after he took all of his other shit, all the hookups and belts and buckles and, shit to tighten ratchet straps out of his old trailer, got rigged up on his new trailer. And that damn axle locks up on his ass about, I guess he's probably damn near 50 miles from his house. And that tire is just screeching on the ground because he's figured out what's going on. Just the axle's locked up. He burns rubber all the way to his fucking house. And this is his brand new tandem axle trailer. And it turns out, I won't mention the brand of the trailer or the place where the trailer was bought from, but that goddamn trailer had all the shackles or, the hardware, the axle was the right one, but all of the other mounting hardware was from a different type or it was from a completely different trailer. So somehow through the assembly line, some wires got crossed or the trailer got crossed into a different assembly line where they put all these things together and had all the wrong underpinnings in it. So with his brand new trailer has had nothing but headaches, hassles, and horse shits. So he spent all that money, about the same dime that you spent on one. But Dave, you got yourself a damn good trailer. What brand is it?
Dude, it's one of those Texas trailer sales, that's just a run-of-the-mill trailer a pipe trailer that they throw together. Is it a true flatbed or has it got rails on it? No, it's got rails on it, but they're, a foot up, angle iron.
It's similar in ways to mine.
Yeah, it's just like the one that you have, except it's tandem. Yeah. Other than that, it's
dude. I was going to buy one because I was going to sell mine, but then after seeing the bullshit that he went through, I figured, you know what, I'm just going to put new tires on mine. But the deal is, if I'm going to buy a new, I'm not going to buy a new one; it'd be a used one. But with a horse trailer, Kristen has decided she wants to get a horse.
Boy.
Yep. Oh, if you're going to get a horse, you got to have a horse trailer. If you're going to tote the motherfucker around, like I said, hey, well, see, you got these people that we know, and they've had this horse for some time. They just don't want the horse anymore. So they called us and said, hey, man, we know Kristen's interested in riding horses and stuff like that. We've got this horse. If you guys want it, you can have it. So, of course, my first question is, what the fuck's wrong with it?
What's a fucking warranty on it?
If you want to give me a horse or us a horse for free, what the fuck is wrong with it? Because surely it's not going to give away this animal has got a lot of training behind it because you don't want it anymore. So anyway, we went out there, looked at the horse today, and I can't remember the breed of the horse. It's kind of some kind of breed of horse. It's got a real smooth gait to it. It walks real smooth, a little bit different than a regular horse. It's a badass horse, a little bit older, and he's not wore out. He's not ready for the glue factory. I'm just kidding. But Jesus Christ, I'll tell you my hunting story here in a minute when I posted my gun sighting in pictures. So anyway, this horse is, he's pretty old. But goddamn, man, Crystal went out there and rode him, and he did everything she wanted. He backed up, walked sideways, forwards. He put on quite the display, so I think maybe tomorrow or the next day, before I go on that hunt, I think I'm going to have to borrow somebody's. My neighbor's got a horse trailer they'll let me borrow, and I'll go down there and put that damn horse in the trailer and bring it back over here so my wife can, you know what, Teddy, out here in Nevada, because this place is a lot smaller than the Broken Skull Ranch in South Texas, I spend a lot of time in my shop, whereas back in the day we would be in the field riding around or working or whatever. So with me spending as much time in my shop, fiddle fucking around or lifting weights or toying with my buggies, she could have a goddamn horse, wouldn't have to yell at me for being in the shop too long. It'd take a lot of grief off of me. So I think we got a horse coming to the family. And then she asked me, she goes, well, the lady was out there. She goes, Steve, do you want a horse? And I said, no, I don't think I do. I said, we grew up in the cattle business. I said, I ain't rode a horse in 25, 30 years, and I got no desire to ride another one. So that settled that conversation real fast. But anyway, we're getting into the horse business, Teddy.
Dude, if you thought there was a lot of dog shit to pick up at the BSR, wait till you get a whole horse.
Oh, dude, we board one out here already right now, and that sumbitch shits like a crippled goose, except magnified because he's a horse. So it's a horse that shits like a crippled goose. How's that?
Dude, and what do you do with it?
Yeah, you don't compost it. I don't even know what we do with that stuff, but it's a goddamn train wreck. Oh, dude, the Evolution pay-per-view is on right now. The World Series is on. Are you watching that? Because you come from the baseball background.
Dude, I'm not, because I switched to Apple TV, so I don't have it. I watch the highlights, after the fact. But no, I'm out of the fucking loop there on the World Series. But I hope Boston takes it.
God damn, dude. What's up with Boston? Why the love for Boston? Is that your team?
Yeah, that's my team.
Okay.
Yeah.
Dude, they're strong. I think, man, the pitching has been so deep for those guys this year. Their hitting has been better. I don't know, the game's going on right now. When I left, it was a 2-1 lead by Boston, and if they win tonight, obviously they'll close it up. This podcast will play on Thursday, so as I'm talking, I don't know what the fuck's going to happen, but the way Boston's playing, I mean, LA had a 4-0 lead last night and blew it, and then all of a sudden, and shit in the bottom of the, 8th and 9th, they scored like 9 runs, so, fuck. Yeah, I don't know, I think they look too strong. I just can't believe that you're not watching. Dude, you might want to check into where you're at. My buddy Court Bauer up there in New York, I think he has AT&T, and he has Netflix, and he's able to stream everything, and it's cheap. It's pretty damn cheap, dude.
I got Netflix, I got Hulu, I got all that stuff, man. I'm just, I'm as dumb as dog shit when it comes to that technology.
Yeah, don't be so hard on yourself. You're not that dumb.
Dude, I got money. I'm willing to pay for it. I just can't figure out how to do it. It's you talk about irritating. So I wait until I wake up in the morning and I, click on my Yahoo browser and, see what the score was.
Man, the other night they were playing, and all of a sudden it was tied up in the 9th inning. So they're going into extra innings, right? Whoever wins.
Yeah.
And then I think they got into inning 12. And inning 12, I just said, you know what? Fuck, I'm tapping. I'll just wake up.
Right.
And we'll see. There's going to be a winner and there's going to be a loser. Man, those motherfuckers played 18 innings. They played 2 ball games, run through I don't know how many pitchers. Here's one thing I was reading about the other day, Teddy. Anyway, LA ended up winning that game, and they had to win. I was reading an article the other day. People were complaining about how long a baseball game takes to complete, because they said, like, back in the 1920s, there were baseball games that last 2 hours, because you generally have a guy comes, for each team and just start and pitch the whole game.
Yeah.
Or if you remember when we were a kid. Dude, this is all I remember as a kid from watching baseball, from the Nolan Ryan days and stuff like that. You had your starting pitcher, and he would pitch, 6, 7, 8 innings. And then you might have the relief pitcher come in, and that was it.
Yep.
That was it. You had 2 fucking pitching changes the whole game. Not anymore. Dude, those guys over in that bullpen, all of a sudden, man, they'll bust out. Jesus Christ, they might bust out 6, 8 different pitchers a game.
Oh, dude, that's why I have a hard time watching professional baseball. I mean, I love the game. I absolutely love the game. But goddamn, it has gotten so specialized. And you'll bring a pitcher in to throw to a particular batter. You're got left on left or right on right, and that may be the only batter that guy throws to, because it has gotten that specialized. And you know what, man, I don't have the attention span for that. Dude, back in the day when I was in high school, dude, we started our high school games at 4:00, and you were finished before it got dark.
Yeah.
That was how it was. I mean, we played 7 innings, and you got it done. And the guy that started the game usually finished the game, unless he got lit up. And then if he had to be taken out in the 4th or 5th inning, it was a boat race anyway. I mean, we were, you old horse owner, the horse had left the barn.
Yeah.
It was a done deal. The game was lost. But now it's like, oh, we got a left-handed hitting, so-and-so, so they've called time, and, they've got, so-and-so, this lefty up in the pen, and, he's going to come in, to throw 5 pitches to the left-handed batter, and, if he gets a hit, that was a lost cause. Or if he gets a guy out, the manager looks like a saint, but if the guy gets on, well, now you got another guy that they've been up in the pen the whole time, and they're going to bring in that middle reliever. And it's like, oh, dude, I got a stack of junk mail on my desk. It's 3 or 4 inches high. I could go through rather than watch this, Dude, I love baseball. Don't get me wrong, but it's like, good Lord, I can't. Yeah, I got other things to do. Before
we leave out here, Teddy, I'm going to go pack up some more shit. I'm double-checking all my systems and making sure I got everything. I got some extra bullets today when Crystal was running errands for me. Before we leave off out of here, dude, I see you're doing some more stuff with Element Outdoors as far as camouflage goes. And what about your bow hunting adventures?
Dude, saints be praised. We finally got our camo clothes in. It has landed like we haven't had enough of a struggle. Right when that hurricane hits Florida is when we're getting our shipment of camo clothing in. It's like, dude, are you serious?
Because you guys are based out of Florida.
Yeah. Chris and those guys are, running the operation out of Florida. I'm kind of the Western division. But yeah, man, we got the camouflage clothing in, and dude,
how's the patterns?
It's showtime. It is showtime. I mean, that's not, because I'm part of it, but it's good stuff. I mean, and it was good stuff to begin with.
Yeah.
And I am 100% on board with it. It's, it's good things are coming. They revamped the website. I'm real excited. We need to get some pictures from the marketing company to show, actual use in the field. Took the product line from about, I don't know, maybe 10 items, and now we've got about 30 different items.
And again, and you got to keep increasing awareness, because it is good stuff. They got good designers, they have good graphics people. It's a small team right now, but it has the legs to be a huge brand. So good luck with that. But that's, if you want to follow them on Twitter. I know on Twitter they're at Element Outdoors. Is their website up and running for ordering, Teddy?
Yes, sir. Yeah, it is. So
it's probably elementoutdoors.com, and I'm sure they have a Facebook page and probably on Instagram as well. And then, dude, I saw you post something on your Instagram page. You are TedFowler361. What's the deal with this new bow you get?
Dude, those guys from Expedition. I mean, I spoke about that last year. Remember, they sent me, they heard me on your podcast, heard I was a bow hunter, and they sent me one of their bows. And dude, that thing was showtime. I mean, it was lights out. I loved it. And they sent me all the accoutrement and set it up, and it was phenomenal. And then they were like, dude, we got another one, and it's called the Perfection, and we want to send that to you. It's like, all right, you ain't gonna twist my arm. Yeah. They, through our marketing guys, the guys over at Rubline Marketing, they're dialed in with this Victory arrows. And dude, the carbon arrows have changed so much. If you saw these Victory arrows, about 2/3 of the diameter of the regular carbon arrows that we were shooting. I mean, when I saw them, I was like, dude, you're kidding. I mean, these things are whisper thin, but you talk about smoking and hitting hard, yeah, but that Expedition bow is badass, dude. It is the real deal. And I'm working right now to get it paper tuned, figuring out how to do that, get it dialed in, but it is the real deal.
How many pins will you set on that thing as far as yardage you're comfortable shooting, Teddy?
Dude, that's the crazy thing, man. This sight system, and man, I can't, that's going to be a pain in the ass because I can't exactly remember the name of the sight, but there's 3 pins on it. And you set it at 20, 30, and 40. Get it dialed in there. The damn thing has a sticker that you have to chronograph your bow and figure out how fast it's shooting. This is how advanced this stuff has gotten, compared to what we were doing.
Right.
That bow, I shot it through a chronograph. It's 285 feet per second. Now, I got a long-ass draw. I'm shooting a long-ass arrow, and it's stiff and it's heavy. So I'm not going to be, one of these short-armed guys that's, man, my bow's shooting 312. What's wrong with you? Well, fuck, I'm 6'5". That's what's wrong with me. I buy my clothes off of the men's rack, not the kids' rack. So you're longer. You're shooting a bigger bow, a longer arrow. It's going just a touch slower. But you put this sticker on the side of your sight. There is a dial if you range something out to, let's say, 65 yards, like your antelope hunting, you're dialed in at 20, 30, and 40. You take that knob and you turn it, and there's, a red arrow. You get it dialed onto that sticker at 65, and that is where your new bottom sight pin is going to be, because it takes into account, the feet per second, the arrow drop, all of that stuff. And you just, turn the knob and move the sight up, dude. And they're talking about being consistent out to 90, 100 yards with this thing. Now, I haven't put that into use yet. I understand the premise behind it, but dude, it makes sense. Now, if that happens, holy cow. Now, I would never take a shot out to 65 yards, I say now. but we'll see what happens.
Well, I mean, if you shot 50, 100 times in your backyard every single day at that distance, for a long time, that'd be one thing. But yeah, you shoot a lot, but maybe not that range. That's very interesting about the bow because, I mean, it's just like, one of the scopes that that guy Jim Irwin was using the other day. With mine, I have the Boone and Crockett reticle with a couple different crosshairs, but those are stationary. I cannot move them. So I know what yardage they're accurate at. With the scope that he's running, man, when they pull up that dope or, their thing, when they zero in at 100 and set their zero stop, man, they just rotate that turret to whatever the distance is. You just dial it up. And I'm making it sound very simple, and he makes it look very simple. The process and the information or whatever has gone behind it is mind-boggling. But man, you're dead on at out to 1,100 yards or whatever you're dialed in at, infinity as far as the bullet will go. That's very interesting now that they're doing that with scopes. Dude, are you going to have a chance to put that thing to use? Are you going to try to gun hunt this year? Are you going to have a chance to do any whitetail hunting in South Texas?
Man, I got dialed in with a couple of different people. If I can get that bow dialed in this week and be comfortable with it, I'm going to head up to around the Dilley area.
Yep.
A little south of Uvalde. That guy with that 300 acres, we made up, and I'm going to go out there and, see what I can do there. Weasel's got a buddy that has 1,100 acres high fence in Fowlerton. And he's looking for somebody to come out and just, shoot some cold bucks, help him out with a little management, all archery. And then Ray, through his family, I think they've got 2,500 acres by the King Ranch. And he asked me, he was like, man, would you mind coming out and shooting some does, helping us, harvest some does with your bow? All bow. They don't want to shoot any guns. I'm like, I could be persuaded. Yeah. So yeah, I've got a couple of offers there that I am going to start exploiting here, as soon as I get that bow dialed.
Well, first of all, I like to hear the fact that it's all bow, although I'm predominantly rifle just because of my schedule. But you never hear anybody in South Texas say, we only want bow shot out there, especially to a big place. But the 1,100 acre place, 300 acre place, I get. What's the thought process behind that other place with just they only want bow? And dude, I appreciate that because you're not scaring the fuck out of all the deer. Yeah. But in saying that, I'm just saying it makes, first of all, it's fun for the hunt, but it's a lot tougher to try to cull your herd just using a bow.
You know what? They do a lot of commercial hunts, and they've got, nil gun stuff out there, so they don't want the place shot up.
Perfect.
Yeah, dude, and I get that, and it's one of those deals where, hey, how proficient are you with a bow? Well, I could tell you stuff, but why don't you come to the house and watch me shoot, and then you tell me if you want me to come out there and hunt. It's one of those type of setups, and dude, I appreciate that.
Are you going to gun hunt any? I mean, did you ever think about jumping on a lease or hunting brackens or anything? I mean, are you just kind of because I know you've been busy, but I know you want to make time for deer hunt because you ain't been able to hunt that much. You know what?
Because we used to shoot so much, and you and I are the same way. I mean, if somebody asked me, hey man, come up this weekend, let's shoot some deer. Dude, the guns I got in my safe, and they're dialed in because I haven't done anything with them. That's the caveat right there. I haven't done anything with them. I haven't shot them. So, I would like to shoot a bunch of rounds through to get back to that, comfortable level, with the rifle. And I'm not there because I haven't shot a centerfire rifle since you sold the joint. All I've been doing is bow hunting and shooting shotgun. So even if somebody asked me to go, to the best place for the gun right now with, that Steyr 30, that double triggered 308, you know which one I'm talking about. Yeah. No, I'm not gonna, unless I can shoot a box of ammo, and I know it's on, I know it's dead on because nothing's happened. But I haven't shot, and I'm not going to, so no, I'm not ready to start gun hunting, but I'm shooting the hell out of some arrows. Man, but that's fun as long as you hunt. And here's the thing, when we were running the ranch, for 10 years and, taking out the call bucks, the does, trying to get a trophy, when we finally got to that level, man, it was so much work, it was just, dude, it's plain and simple. I'll use the H word.
it's a lot of harvesting.
Yeah.
And it's so much because you're high fenced. It's a different ball game. Now to come out here in Nevada and you get one tag per year if you get a tag. And after all these years from putting in, finally I get these landowner tags. So I'm on a 2-year run. And that mule deer I shot last year, I've eaten almost every single ounce of that thing. The antelope, I'm 2/3 of the way through, had it made into burger and backstrap. But it's so refreshing, Ted, and so fun to chase fair game on hundreds of thousands of acres. And it's you versus them, and you only get one. So it's taking up, you're working, because it's hard work to get to the opportunity for the shot to present. That's the fun work. It's not the work where we've got to take X amount of numbers, which, you're trying to grow big deer. Here you're out here just trying to take your buck, but, you're hunting for meat, but, you're hunting for horns, right? And so the fact that you only got to take one, that was what made the mule deer hunt so special to me last year, and the fact that it was with my brother-in-law and a good buddy of his, and I got a badass deer, but that's why it's so much more fun for me now.
Dude, it's 180 degrees from what we were doing, at the ranch. I mean, we were growing deer, and out there, you're hunting deer.
It's a different ball game. It's managing versus hunting.
Yes, sir. Yeah. And the part that I like now, I've got a little bit of experience from, being fortunate enough to do what I did with you, and all that you did for the ranch. That's an education that, you can't pay enough money to get. Now I go to people's, places and they're like, hey, let's drive around and look at some deer. I'm like, well, it's like when we went to Iowa, we met with the marketing guys there at Rubline. It was like, we're driving around cruising this property and I'm looking going, man, I'd put a stand there. I'd hunt this, I'd do that. And we're driving around. I'm like, well, hell, there's doe right there. And everybody's like, what? I'm like, yeah, right there. It's just a level of experience I gained, hanging out with you at the ranch. Now I'm down here, hanging out with these guys, just regular folks in South Texas. And they're like, man, what do you think of this buck? I think it's shit. I'd shoot it right in the head. I'm going, man, that's got cull all day on it, because I'm kind of jaded from what we had, but I'm trying to impress upon them, man, even if it is low fence, you still got to take does, don't go crazy and shoot the first horn you see. So, I'm excited about doing that and having some opportunities. I'm talking about smaller places, not Ray's place, because I'm the guest there, but, to try to add my knowledge to what they got going on, I'm looking forward to that. It's going to be fun.
Well, dude, let's wrap it up. Where are you at on Twitter and Instagram?
All right, TedFowler361.
Man, it's good talking to you, Teddy. I'm gonna I got me a Nevada phone number. I'll text you once I get out there in range, and that'll be my number. I'll send you some pictures. But anyway, I'll give you a shout if we have any luck over there.
All right, dude. How long is your hunt?
November 1 through 5. So I'm gonna leave on real early on the 31st. Get in there and get settled in. Take a little ride around. Just kind of look, get settled in, and then we'll start off on the 1st. And he's been out there hunting, 034 and 032, all year long. So I know he's got a few scouting reports, but there's also been pressure out there. So I guess there's been a lot more hunters through there than there was last year. It wasn't known as a big buck haven to begin with. I shot a monster deer there. Well, a really good deer there last year, so I was very fortunate. I don't know what to expect. I'm sure I'll be just as turned around as I once was, but it's such beautiful country out there. I'm just looking forward to getting out there. And at the end of the 5 days, Teddy, just like I do, brother, if you don't get nothing, that's part of the gig. You don't get nothing,
Dude, but that's 5 days that you'll never be able to describe to people that don't hunt, what you saw with the sunrise and the sunset and, the animals you come across and the things you see, you can't describe that to people. But I'll tell you what, man, if you're going to hang out with somebody to get a big mule deer with, Mitch Bailey's the guy.
I tell everybody that. He won't tell nobody that, but I said, dude, my brother-in-law's the best fucking guy in the state. And that's not even me being partial. That's a shoot.
No, dude, Mitch Bailey's the real deal. He is the real deal.
Well, shit, Teddy, I'm going to hang it up and go look online for used horse trailers.
You put that son of a bitch in the Kentucky Derby, you better let me know.
He's got a good chance of winning if all the other horses die.
I definitely in the senior division of the Kentucky Derby.
Dude, if I bet the farm on it, I'd put that motherfucker on my shoulders and run him around myself.
A damn handicap match.
I'll bring my leg braces. Dude, midway through the race, I'll pull a razor blade, get some color. I'll really throw some drab in this fucking thing.
Good God. All right, man. Give him hell and shoot straight.
Good talking to you.
All right, man. Take it easy.
WWE Shop is the official online superstore of WWE, and that is the only place you can buy all of the authentic WWE t-shirts that you see your favorite superstars wear every week on Raw and SmackDown Live, as well as classic legends retro designs. WWE Shop is also home of the best selection of replica championship titles anywhere. These are the closest you can get to the titles you see on television and the classic titles you remember from back in the day. The Universal Championship, 3 different versions of the Intercontinental Championship, and the best damn belt ever made, the Smoking Skull. And don't forget about all the great memorabilia and collectibles. Do yourself right and check it all out. Just for listeners of the Steve Austin Show, extended through November 15th, you can get 20% off your next order at WWE Shop. Head over to shop.wwe.com/Austin and use the code Austin for your badass savings. Again, say, oh, hell yeah, and show your WWE pride. Get over to shop.wwe.com/Austin and use the code Austin to save 20% at WWE Shop. See site for details. Folks, I am still hanging upside down from my feet these days. Let me explain a little bit. It's called inversion therapy, which uses gravity and your own body weight to decompress your spine and release tension in your shoulders, neck, and joints. Decompressing on my Teeter Inversion Table for a few minutes a day has been a great addition to my routine, helping me maintain a healthy spine and stay active without the pain. I loaded up my Teeter Inversion Table in the back of my Yukon XL, brought it out here to the Silver State, Broken Skull Ranch 2.0. Couple days a week, I go get in that thing, turn myself upside down, and just hang there. I put my arms up sometimes, just kind of lay them back, and just let gravity, the force of gravity, just slowly decompress my spine. It feels like I'm actually getting taller. Feels like the circulation is better all over my body. It really takes a load off. No pun intended, that's just what it does. So I'm digging this thing, and if you've jumped up and down on your ass, given a Stone Cold Stunner as many times as I have, been hit in the head with as many steel chairs as I have, or if you've been in similar situations as I have, if you've beaten your body half to death, this gravity inversion table will really help your ass out. Really help you relax and get a lot of mobility back and get some blood circulation and flowing again. I ain't no scientist. I'm just telling you, I dig it, and it works for me. I guess it's working for other people, too, because over 3 million people have put their trust in Teeter, which is recognized as the best-known name in inversion table since 1981, and the only inversion table brand that has been both safety certified by UL Laboratories and FDA registered as a Class 1 medical device. Just for listeners of the Steve Austin Show, you can get the brand new 2019 Teeter FitSpine Inversion Table like I got, with bonus accessories including a lumbar bridge, pressure nodes, a neck pillow, and an instructional DVD for stretches. Plus, you'll also get a free pair of gravity boots so you can vert at home or take the boots with you to the gym. This deal is $150 worth of savings, and it's only available at teeter.com/Austin. On top of all that, you'll also get free shipping, free returns, and a 60-day money-back guarantee, so there's absolutely no risk for you to try it out. Remember, you can only get the new 2019 Teeter FitSpine Inversion Table, all the accessories, plus a free pair of gravity boots and free shipping by going to teeter.com/Austin. That's TEETER.com/Austin. Do it for your damn back. I did, and I'm glad I did it. All right, everybody, give me the go-home cues. Time to wrap up this podcast and ride off in the sunset. Before I do that, I want to thank TedFowler361 for shooting the breeze with me on the podcast. As always, it's good to talk to Ted. One of my best friends. Not a whole lot of crazy jokes, but real conversation about shit we love to do. Hunting, shooting, being in the outdoors, all that shit. So it's always good to talk to Ted Fowler, and he's helping me out. As you listen to this podcast, I am in outside of Winnemucca on a mule deer hunt. So it's nice to get out in the outdoors. I'll be back in a couple of days enjoying this time out here in the beautiful high desert out here in Nevada, God's country, if you will. And if you get thirsty while you listen to this podcast, or maybe while I'm out there in the high desert, I'm going to try some Broken Skull IPA. Broken Skull IPA is recognized worldwide as the best IPA in the United States of America. Yeah, that doesn't sound right because I just made it up. But this is a badass, high-quality beer, and it has my stamp of approval. It was designed by myself and Rob Croxall of El Segundo Brewing Company, and this is an exceptional beer. If you're lucky enough to try it, if you come to L.A. or SoCal, you can find it at Whole Foods and Total Wines. If you ain't in Cali, you're probably shit out of luck. If you come to L.A., go to 140 Main Street in El Segundo, California. Tell them Austin sent you and get you a fresh pint straight out of the draft, or get you a cold bottle out of the fridge. This is a high-quality, badass beer, and I stand by it all day long. Another thing I'm standing by is my cold steel broken skull knife and a working man knife. You can find them at my Amazon store. Go to amazon.com/shop/Steve Austin, or go to the Cold Steel Knives website. And I want to say one more thank you to all the fine sponsors of the Steve Austin Show, especially betonline.ag, TrueCar, Teeter, WWE Shop, and Geico. That's how I'm able to do this podcast for you twice a week for free. Please support them because they support us. If you need more info on my sponsors, check out the show description to this episode for details. Folks, until next time, my name is Steve Austin, and I will catch your ass down the road.
This has been a Podcast One production. Download new episodes of The Steve Austin Show every Tuesday at PodcastOne.com. That's PodcastOne.com.
Before we ride off, a quick message from my friends at Geico. Go to geico.com, and in 15 minutes, you could be saving 15% or more on car insurance. That's right. Save hundreds of dollars on car insurance at geico.com. Extra money in your pocket? It may just be the most rewarding thing you do today.